All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, today is one of those lessons that you guys told me you wanted to learn, and that is cursive. Okay. Now, like I said in class, this is just a lesson to basically teach you and help you, to write cursive. Now, obviously, I can't be there with you at this point and showing you how to do the penmanship and stuff like that. Okay. Um, all I can do is give you the worksheet for this lesson about the history of cursive and what it means and some of that, and the pros and cons and the opportunity cost of it. But the thing is, I do have worksheets. So if you want the worksheets of how to write the letters and stuff like that, by all means, let me know and I will give that to you. I printed out not a bunch of sheets, but enough. Okay. So here's your warm up picture. Basically, the question is asking you, what is this artist trying to say about your guys' generation and the future generation? So, you guys and your future kids, your future grandchildren, what are they trying to say? So, look what that kid is saying to his dad. And yeah, think about the future. If he's already saying that, how do you think his kids are going to be? How do you think those future kids are going to be like? Okay. So pause the video, write your response because we're moving on in three, two, one. Now, cursive comes from the word meaning running or coursing. Okay. It's a style of writing where all the words are connected. Okay. Really, it should be letters are connected, not the words. Okay. The entire words are written without lifting the pen or pencil. Now, like I said in class, do you always have to write with the pencil all the way down, all the way through the whole word? Not necessarily. Um, like I don't do it completely. Sometimes all the way through when I write a word in cursive. Um, but you should. But do you have to always? No, no. You know. And again, that kind of gives a distinction to your writing style. Okay. Now, cursive is also known as script or longhand. Um, so if you watch some old movies, we're talking black and white movies, you might hear them say, "Oh, so and so wrote me a letter in longhand." It's like, and you're like, "Well, what the hell is longhand?" That's cursive. Okay. Now, if you look at that picture right here of the preamble, up on top, that's not cursive. Okay. Cursive is the writing below. That's cursive. Okay. Now, here's the thing too, which I found that was pretty interesting. A lot of students, a lot of young kids think that cursive has been the way to write for thousands of years, things like that, since the days of like the Romans and stuff. Guys, no, no. Okay. Cursive started in the 11th century. Okay. But it really wasn't a standard way to write until the 17th and 18th century. Okay. Um, so like this, the preamble to the Constitution, that wasn't written until the 1770s. So if that was written, let's say 100 years before, like in the 1670s, chances are those words you see in cursive, the bottom part, would be written just like the top part. It'd be in print, Old English script or stuff like that. But it wouldn't be cursive, more than likely, because that wasn't the standard at that time. Whereas in 1770s, it was standard. Okay. Now, this I found was interesting. I tried to look up some interesting facts about cursive, and I found one stat that said in 2012, 37% of all adults say they write in cursive. I'm sure that number has dipped down even more. And like I told the class, was simply this: if any adult tells you, oh, you know, You need to learn how to write cursive. How come you don't know cursive and things like that? You could ask them, well, do you write cursive? Yes, I write cursive. Well, show me. Chances are they're going to hesitate because they probably haven't written cursive in so long. They probably kind of forgot how to do it. And if they do know how to write it, it might not be that good. And they don't want you saying, what in the world is that? So, yeah. So don't let them say stuff to you. Okay. Just remember, if you are really trying to learn, practice. Okay. Now, what are some cons, some bad things to writing in cursive? Well, sometimes, and I see this quite a bit with students who think, oh, I can write in cursive. Yeah, don't, because it's less legible than print. So if you look at that top picture there, can any of you guys read that? No, you shouldn't. You couldn't because that looks like chicken scratchings. Um, that's supposedly someone's cursive. I can't make out a single word in there. So, and I'm sure that's probably in a different language, but dear Lord, look at it. It's just like, no, you know. So that's the thing. That's one of the bad things that people who think they can write and try to hurry up and write in cursive, it comes out looking like that. The other thing is almost everything nowadays is done digitally. You sign up for something, hey, give us your digital e-signature. Just click this box, you know, type in the name, stuff like that. So a lot of stuff is done digitally now. Also, it's slower to write than typing. On your keyboard on your phone, you can type, without even looking at the keyboard because you guys are so used to it. You know, so yeah, writing by hand takes time. This was another fact that I found that was very interesting. On average, you know, $95 million in tax refunds. So money that should be going back to people doesn't go back to people because these IRS, they're getting papers like the top picture and they're like, what in the world does that say? We can't read it. And the thing is, guys, it's like how some of you guys told me in class, like, oh, well, I wrote something down. Well, did you? Because that looks like a chicken just went like scratched it, and you know, expect me to read that? If you can't even read it, how you expect me to read it? And just because you write something down doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that you're going to get full credit for it because I can't grade it. I can't read it. Same thing with the government. They're not going to give you your money back if they can't read what you wrote. So it's very important that if you do write cursive, that you do make it legible. Now let's talk about the good things about cursive. Apparently, during the research I was doing, it said that it encourages cognitive skills, which is brain skills. So it makes your brain actually stronger. And why does it do that? It goes with the next two things. Um, and I think this one really applies to like me because I've been saying it for years. I strongly believe that I'm dyslexic because when I spell in print, I misspell words all the times. Letters get mixed up. Even when I'm reading, I have to read something like three times to make sure I get the information right because the words kind of jumble a little bit for me. So, and when I do write in cursive, that's originally how I write. And it does help me to write in cursive because it goes to the next thing. I have to focus on what I'm writing. And because I'm slowing down and I'm focusing, um, I don't really misspell words when I'm writing in cursive as opposed to print. When I'm printing words out, I'm always messing up. Um, Another really cool thing about reading in cursive is you can read historical texts. You can read like that bottom little picture right there. Now, students said in class, well, that's a pretty writing. Anyone could read that. No, not anyone. Some people look at where it says the word beautiful, and if you can't find beautiful, that says right there you don't know how to read cursive. And if you do know where it's at, awesome. But when you see the B, some people think it's like that looks like an L, you know, and some people can't like, wait, what's that letter? Is that a J? Is that a Z? What the hell is that? Because they don't know. You know? So just because it looks pretty doesn't mean people can actually read it, because they don't know how to read cursive. And the other thing with signatures, which goes to the main topic what we're talking about here, is it's harder to forge than e-signature or print signature. And that's where the opportunity cost comes in, you know, because, yeah, to print something, yeah, you'll save time. To do an e-signature, you're going to save a bunch of time, you know, but the odds of your information, your signature, when it's done in print, being forged, or an e-signature being forged, um, the risk is extremely high, really high. But when you print with the signature, it's harder for people to counterfeit that, because they too again have to focus on writing in cursive. And like I told the students in class, handwriting experts can see where people stopped because they're trying to make the signature just right. They can see, hey, they slowed down here, and in the real signature they didn't slow down because they just and they can see those little dots because pen, if you guys don't know, the ink is constantly running. So if someone stops even for like half a second, the ink is going to stay on that paper and it's going to create a dot. Okay, and that's where those um, signature, uh, expert people, they look for that kind of stuff. So yes, you will save time and things like that if you write in print, you sign in print, or you do an e-signature. But what's the opportunity cost? You're going to have a large, huge risk that your information, um, like your signature and some of that, can be forged. Okay. So, with that being said, that's the end of this lesson. So, hopefully, you learned something new. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. And again, like I said, I have the worksheets if you want to learn how to write in cursive so you can develop that skill to write a signature for your checks, for whatever you need to, sign legal documents, and things like that. Um, I do have the worksheet, and like I said, it just takes practice, guys. Practice, 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 practice. You're not going to get it down in a day, in a month, in a year. It's going to take you several years to constantly practice writing in cursive to get it down. Okay. So, you guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.